Hello and welcome to this tutorial on setting up Google Play services with Cocos2d-x for iOS. First thing you want to do is go to your Google Play Developer Console and sign in. Once you've signed in, you want to go to Game Services on the left. Now if you followed our Android tutorial, you will already have a game service set up. As you can see, we have test games set up, so we're going to be using that because you don't need to create a new one for each platform. If you haven't created one already, just click add new game, enter the title of your game, and then choose a category and click continue, and you'll get to a similar screen as we got. Now again, we've already created some test achievements and some leaderboards. They're pretty self-explanatory of how to set up, but yeah, make sure you get your IDs to stick in code for later, and don't forget your app ID at the top. So straight away we're going to go to linked apps this time and go to iOS. And then in the bundle identifier, you want to put your bundle identifier, which you can get from your project by clicking on your project, go to general, and under bundle identifier you will find what you need to put on Google Play. So if you paste that in and then click save and continue, you should then get to this authorize app stage. Sometimes takes a while. And once you get to that stage, if you just click authorize your app now and click create client, and once you create client, it will give you a code, which is basically your app ID and then a string of numbers, and yeah, you want to copy that. That's your client ID. You'll be using that to actually sign into Google Play for iOS. So we've put all our details in a file called definitions.h, and we've called it kClientID. If you change this name, you'll need to change some code that I give you later on. Just change kClientID to whatever you define it as. And we're just going to add in an achievement, so I can just show you how to unlock an achievement later on. So again, you get your IDs from the console. So under achievements, okay, so now we've got all them put in, and now the next thing you want to do is go to the following link and download these helper files provided by cPignan. I've already downloaded mine, and once you extract that folder you get, and go inside that folder and go inside the Google Play Game Services folder, the first thing you want to do is copy from classes, JNI helpers and native utils files into your project. If you did this in the Android side, you don't have to do it again because they should already be in your classes. As you can see, I've already added them in. And then the next thing you want to do is go to the iOS folder and I'm not going to be showing you how to use AddMob and stuff like that, so I've actually commented out the AddMob functionality in this video, so ignore copying the AddMob stuff. Just copy Google Open Source Framework. All these frameworks I'm copying, so it's the Google Open Source, Google Plus, Bundle and Framework, Google Play Games, Bundle and Framework, Google Play Game Services, iOS.h and .mm, PlayGameSingleton.h, PlayGameSingle.mm, View Achievements, View Leaderboards, and View Single Leaderboards. and you want to copy them to your project iOS folder. Once that's done, go into Xcode and you right click on your iOS folder and just add those files in, because it won't appear in Xcode automatically, so just everything that's not already included, just copy them in. Okay, so once those are all copied in, the first thing I'm going to do is just comment out all the add functionality, because I don't want to use that and it's just extra work to get it in your project. So I'm just going to comment out in nativeutils.h the 3 add functions, and those same 3 add functions in the CPP, which is all at the bottom. And then I want to go to playgamesingleton.h and comment out the 3 add functions there. And then playgamesingleton.mm, I want to comment out the header, and then the add mob banner view, and then the 3 functions at the bottom of the file. Okay, next you're going to want to go to appcontroller.h and make sure you import google+h and import googleplaygames.h. And then after that you want to make sure the appcontroller:/ns object has UI application delegate and GPPS sign-in delegate. And you also want to make sure you have a UI window pointer and a root view controller pointer, and add these properties at the bottom. Okay, so now in appcontroller.mm you want to import googleopensource.h, you want to import playgamesingletons.h, and you want to import definitions.h. Our file is called definitions.h. It's just basically the file where you put your client ID, because you're going to use that to sign in. So wherever you put your client ID, make sure you include that file at the top. So I'll put these functions in a forum post so they're just easier to copy into the bottom, but you just want to copy these functions to the bottom of your file. They're just used for signing in again. Once you've added those functions, in the top function, I think it's div application load with options, you want to add the Google, this Google code, which again I'll put in a post. As you can see, you change client ID if you change client ID in your definitions file, otherwise it'll be fine. This if statement basically just signs you in as soon as the application is launched. If you wanted to do it via a button instead, or handle it a different way, you could just comment that out, and then from your code of your application you can then handle in signing in. The way you would do that, you just include your native utils file at the top, and then wherever you wanted to sign in, you just you'd probably check if you're not signed in already. So if native utils is signed in, and then just put a not at the beginning, and then just call native utils sign in. Fairly simple. Okay, so the final few things you have to do are project settings. So if you click on the project at the top and go to build phases, again I'll list these in the forum post, but I'll just quickly go through what libraries you need to add to this link binary with libraries options. So you need to add addressbook.framework, assetslibrary.framework, coredata.framework, corelocation.framework, coremotion.framework, coretelephony.framework, coretext.framework, foundation.framework, mediaplayer.framework, and then quartzcore.framework, which is usually added by default, security.framework, which again is usually already there, libc system configuration.framework, libc++.dlib, and libz.dlib, which is usually already there. Now, if you only want to support iOS 7 and above, you don't need to make changes. All you need to do is add the game controller framework and ignore the changes I make coming up. But if you want to support iOS 6 or lower, you can't have this game controller framework because it doesn't exist and your application will crash. So the way I figured out to make it work on iOS 6, at least I haven't tested any lower than iOS 6, is to remove this game controller framework and go to your Cocos2d-lib project and expand it, and go into base and go into cccontroller-ios.mm, and this file will be fully uncommented, and basically it just comment this file out and it should work on iOS 6 then, because this file is just if you want to use a gamepad with your application, which none of my applications use, so it didn't really affect anything for me. But if you want to support iOS, only want to support iOS 7 and above, you don't need to comment this out, because just add the game controller.framework and you'll be fine. Okay, so back to your project settings. You want to go to build settings, scroll down to linking, and under other linker flags add -objc as a flag, and finally go to info and expand URL types and add a URL type, and in identifier put your bundle identifier, and in URL schemes again put your bundle identifier. And once you've done that, you should be able to build your project, which I will speed up. So once it's compiled, I'll just show you how you would use it to perhaps unlock an achievement. So I'm just going to use splash scene because it's just got less code and it's easier to see. So typical usage, you'd probably just check if you're signed in, make sure you have native utils included at the top, so yeah, native utils is signed in, and if you're signed in, then you can just call native utils : unlock achievement, and you can pass through your achievement ID, which you have defined somewhere in your project. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Same goes for submitting scores to leaderboards, because Google automatically detect whether it's a new high score and accept it or not, but it's pretty much simple. So yeah, it's pretty much as simple as that, and hopefully this is helpful. I'll put all the links that you need in the description. Thanks for watching.